What is up, everybody? Another week, another show. You know, me and Kelley are always here for you, and we always start off by thanking those companies that make these show possible. Guys, I'm not going to go into details with anyone tonight. I'm just going to give a huge shout out to all of them. So obviously, we want to thank Yellow Jacket. We want to thank Better Air. We want to thank Service Titan, True Tech Tools. Don't forget the discount code. Put in Uncensored to save 8%. We want to thank some of the ones that we're going to be working with soon. Our friend Nate Adams has a program that he's working on that we're going to try to affiliate with them to get this out to people. It's a software for your whole home as far as doing like the tightness test and stuff like that. So we're going to bring on Nate and do that, but we want to thank all those people to make this possible. Like me and Kelley said in the last podcast, we don't do this for the money, man. We really, really don't. We make pennies when you think about it. We do this for you guys, and we're going to go over some of that tonight. Some of the things that we get sent, emails, the text messages, and that's the payoff for why we do this. All right, so that's the intro tonight, and on to the show.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States, and thank you to all of our global listeners.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
If you're trying to take your HVAC game to the next level, then buckle your seatbelt, crank up the volume, and try not to be offended, because you're listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast with Gil Cavey and Kelley McKay. Now, here's Gil and Kelley.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to HVAC Uncensored podcast. I am your host, Gil Cavey Jr., sitting alongside my buddy, old mother freaking pal, Mr. Kelley McKay. What is up, my man?
What's going on, man?
Nothing, man. Same old stuff. I know we talked off air, but business is doing pretty good, man. I'm happy. I think that the company is we're going in the right direction. And I really, really am blessed to be working with such amazing people. Not that my past wasn't good, but I'm glad that the result of where I am now happened, because I think in my life, this is the best thing that could have happened for me. And just got that excitement again, you know?
Yeah, it's good to get your passion back and get that motivation rolling, and it makes life and work funner, when you get excited again. That's how I've been at work. I'm excited again, and we're not doing nearly as well as you guys are doing. But I see the future. I know what's possible. I feel like I've gained more, I don't know. It's not momentum, but I've gained something that, I guess more confidence. That's the word I was searching for. Maybe just slowly gaining my confidence more and more. Some of you guys may not know this, but I know, but I'll share this, with you guys and with Gil, is that, I probably thought about doing like the YouTube channel. I probably thought about doing that for probably a year before I actually did it. When it came time to I was going to open my own business. Well, it took a year and a half for me to, once I made the decision to go ahead and do that. I'm like, I want to feel safe. I want to know that I've got some stuff taken care of. I'm not like a super risk taker. I'm not like a super
comfort zone kind of guy.
Yeah. I mean, to a degree, it's like I like to try to cover my bases before I make some big decisions. That's all. I've always been that way.
Calculated risk.
Yes. I'm not afraid to take the risk whatsoever, because I've joined, if any of you guys joined one of these big coaching organizations, it's freaking scary to make that commitment to do that. And I'm over that. When it comes to my education, I invest. And nothing stops me. I probably overinvest, to be honest with you.
I was going to say, you probably joined all of them. Probably.
Not
Pretty
yet.
much.
Not
No, I
yet.
said pretty much all of them. You definitely invest. I will fucking give you that one. I mean, you
Yeah.
definitely have put your money where your mouth is. You've definitely invested in a lot of stuff for you and your team. So
Yes. And I didn't tell you, just last weekend I invested in it because I talked to another coach that's part of a book, a really good book that I read. And when I read this book, I listened to it twice first on Audible. And it was one of those books where if something's really, really good, you'll go ahead and buy the book because you kind of want to see the graphs and the charts and it's a business book, but it's called Scaling Up by Vern Harnish. And they have a scaling up group. Well, I reached out to them because I was interested. I watched a webinar.
wasn't it the woman? You told me about the woman that was coming over?
Yeah, she came, and I'm sure she's awesome, and I'm sure she could help us. But the price was steeper than what I've ever paid for any of these best practice coaching organizations. Yeah, so
And I know what you paid for some of them, so I know it's got to be a lot of money.
it was about $1,000 more than the most expensive one a month. Yeah, and there's no with that, there's not like a ton of training like for your technicians and your CSRs and management. Like that doesn't come with it. So and that was the cheap package. The cheap package got me one call a month. She would come to our place of business once a quarter for every quarter of the year. And the first initial meeting was a 2-day visit because we were going to work through some worksheets and stuff. So I really want it. I'm sure she's an absolute rock star. I'm sure she could help us. However, I just can't. I'm still in another organization, like so I'm paying that. So I can't add this. There's just no way. I can't feel comfortable. But they had an online version, and I signed up for that, and it was $2,400. So I just paid $2,400. So guys that don't know me, like I do this also with my own money. I spend thousands of dollars every year of my own money to invest in my own education. And it's something that I know always has a return on investment. I'm constantly getting better. I'm learning more. And that's what it's about at the end of the day. I feel like if you're not learning and growing, then you're kind of dying, or you are dying. So it's been well worth it. I would not even some of the coaching organizations that I'm not particularly I wouldn't go out and openly recommend to people. I still don't regret doing it one bit. It was still worth the investment because I did grow as a person. It helped me grow my company a little bit. And, so I'm happy with it overall.
Nice. Yeah, no, I do give you that, man. I do know, since, man, in the 2, 3, whatever years it's been that we've been friends, man, I know that you've spent a dickload of money.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think that I want to do something I've always taken technical and stuff and some sales classes, but I guess I want to kind of take something to make me better at, running a company, at, things like that. I want to get better at that. And
leadership, management.
Yeah. I want to try to take some classes for that and invest in myself. Therefore, I'm investing in the business. Just to make myself better, that I can be the best for the team,
That's how I feel. That's where I'm at. And I feel like the current organization that we're a part of, they've got tons, hours and hours of management training. However, I don't know how to describe it, but when it comes to, I still feel like there's something missing. I do. That's why I'm searching other places. I still feel, and I've even had conversations with my coach, and they do a great job. I would totally recommend, who I'm with right now all day long, every day. I believe in them. I think they're a great organization. But I'm still searching for more. I want the next answer. And because we've talked personally about some challenges that we've been faced with some of our alignment as a team. And so it's getting a lot better. And I feel we've actually gained some momentum since the last 3 weeks ago when we really talked about that. So things are going good, but they can always be better. And, you know, bottom line is I need to get better. You know, I've learned so much. I do a pretty damn good job at leading my team and supporting them, loving on them. Sometimes I'm not the greatest in holding them accountable. So that has to improve. So that's part of what this particular thing is like. You're going through these worksheets and steps and right now feels like it's going to be the answer, as well as I do, like things change in an instant. It's when you make the decision to make that change. That's when they change. So we've made the decision. I've made the decision. I'm not going back. We're going to, the organization is going to change.
One thing that I give you, Kel, and I think that it's a sign of a good leader that you always keep learning and doing stuff, and then you provide your team with things. And I do agree with you about the holding accountable thing, because I think that you present your team with so many fucking gifts, with so many tools. And when something happened, it doesn't work, you take it as if you failed.
Right.
And you didn't fail,
Right.
So, and that's a good sign of a leader that you're putting on your shoulders. But, I think it's not, man, because that I know personally, maybe what the listeners don't know. And there's if all of you guys knew half of a smidge of the things that Kelley offers, and you were in his area, you'd be beating down his door to work for him. I mean, and that's the truth. If I was a technician, I know I sure as fuck would want to work there.
I'd take good care of you.
Yeah.
So yeah. And some of the guys they do appreciate it, and they do let me know about that. And but it's hard, you do still take it personally. It's hard not to take it personally as a failure for you when you're trying to push so hard. And man, I always see the potential in people and what they're capable of. And if I just had somebody that could see that in me when I was their age and would give them all these tools to go out and get it, like I'd be living a different life, man. So, and that's what I want for them. I want them, by the time they're my age, I'm going to be 44 next month. Like by the time they're my age, I want them to, be light years ahead of me, and part of that is going to come from somebody believing in them and somebody giving them the tools and help pushing them to change their behavior, change their actions, and get a different result.
And I think that that's one of the small things that kind of connects me and you. And we talk about this is we're both that way, that we want to pass our knowledge on. I think that's what makes this podcast grow. It's what's made us successful, is giving our knowledge away to other people, and really, truly, not just talking out the side of our ass, truly wanting to see other people be successful, because we see it every day on fucking social media and different things, where in this industry, it's happened where people want to learn stuff, but they want it for themselves. They say they want you to be successful, but they don't. That's just right. Saying the right thing. But to truly help other people, it's like when they say like around Christmas time, it's always better to give than it is to receive, and it means more. And it really is, man. Like that's why I like kind of lead into the show tonight when it's saying that it's not about money, but when we read these emails and these text messages and stuff, like that's what makes this all worth it. Me and Kelley, literally over the time we've been doing this podcast, it's thousands of emails, thousands of text messages, reviews. It's crazy. And that's the payoff, to be able to help other people. Two fucking HVAC guys who have just worked their way up in the industry, being able to help other techs, other business owners, be successful. It feels good. Especially when it's not like me and Kelley are like at the top of the line. We're not like oh, we're it, looking down on everybody else. Some of these people we talk to, we're looking up at them, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, you know?
Even if we were, we're not going to be standing up there hollering about how fucking great we are. So I don't agree with that at all.
No.
And I can't support that. I'm sorry. So
Yeah. You're looking at my skirt.
I don't look, I look up to plenty of people. And there's very, very, very few people that I look down on.
Yeah. I try not to look down on anybody.
That's what I'm saying. But
yeah,
there's a couple that I cannot not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not people it's past employees who are narcissists. Like, I've only encountered 2 in my life, and they're the worst people. I'm convinced they're the worst type of people on this planet, and I do look down on them. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I guess I agree with I could definitely have a few that I definitely look down on.
Right. But I try not to look down on anybody, because I realize
I look at them with disgust. They literally disgust me.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it that way, but yeah.
Well, but that's the truth, though.
It is.
There's only a few. I can probably count them on one hand, but I look at them people, and just the sight of them turns my fucking stomach. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
They disgust me.
That's what I'm saying. There's only 2 that I know of that just absolutely disgust me. And so, but for the most part, yeah, we're trying to, I've got a couple of courses. I sell my couple of books, and like, I got it. I'm trying to provide value to the industry, and that's worth something. That's what we talk about. Like, it's, that's why these best practices coaching organizations, they cost so much, is because they are providing a ton of value, and they're going to help you get somewhere faster than if you tried to figure it out all yourself. Because I've went that route, for the first 6, 7, 8 years, I went that route, and it's slow going, because you're just picking one little tiny morsel at a time, and you chew on that for a long time. And then you find another tiny morsel, and you chew on that for a long time. And it's just slow. So, every single successful person, no matter who you are, think of all the Olympic athletes and the, professional boxers and professional football players and basketball players and soccer players. Like, they all have coaches. The best business people in the world have coaches. They have coaches for each area of their life: their spirituality, their fitness, their health,
sex.
Like, yes.
People actually
absolutely.
do have that.
Absolutely. Because if you want to learn how to have a deeper connection with your wife, and you want to have more sex, I can tell you right now, the best thing you could do is go get a coach. It's going to get you a lot faster. Like, they figured things out, and that's what coaches are. They
It's actually a side job that I have. You guys need me. If you need to hire me to be a sex coach, I will definitely do it. I will be naked in the room with you, but it's all part of the program. I promise you. Sorry, we were getting a little serious there for a second, so I had to. And I also do give out free courses too, so I'll do it for free. You don't even got to pay me. I'll just show up.
So my point is, like, I've got things in the pipeline that I'm going to be releasing soon that I've worked really, really hard on, and it's going to be, there it is.
Sorry.
Released. And it's because I do want to give back but it is worth money, but it's going to be far less than what you would pay to invest, in a 2-year contract with a best practices coaching organization. So,
plus, I mean, you got to realize now, guys, it's got to be like, it all comes to what you settle on, what you're okay with. Like, I want to keep learning and learning and learning, and I rather bust my ass now in the years that I can, so I can be that grandfather that's sitting at home, my bills are paid, I ain't got to fucking worry about it. I know my kids are successful, or I've put them in the position to be okay. And I can spoil my grandkids, and I can go ride on the boat, and that's what I think about, that I want to set myself up. Like, it breaks my heart when I go into like some of these like Walmarts or these stores, and you see these like 75-year-old people working because not because they want to, because they have to. It's like, damn, man, like that sucks. Because if you think Social Security is gonna, it's how you're gonna live off of, good fucking luck. Our generation, probably by the time you're gonna retire, Social Security is gonna be gone. Yeah, it's
It
gonna be
won't even
gone.
exist. Yeah.
So you really you gotta plan for this stuff, and while if you're healthy enough, like put in the work. And I'm not saying like don't spend time with your family, because P and Kelley preach that, to spend time with your family, remember what your why is, but learn. Always try to be the best version of you that you can possibly be. And that's a constant something you have to do. It's not like, oh, I'm there. Woohoo, I met it. No, you meet it for a little bit. And it's like, you know what? Now I can get better. Yada, yada, yada. And me, I'm a sports fan, so I always use sports analogies. But, being from Baltimore, I always talk about Ray Lewis. And like, he would always say that, he was never there. And when people talk about him, they say that he was already the king ding-a-ling, but he was always trying to outwork the next guy. Like that's how you stay on top. It's you bust your ass to get there, and then you keep outworking the next guy to try to stay there. And there's a whole bunch of other athletes like that. That's just, analogy that's close to me. But it's got to be the same way for us. You got to outlearn the next guy, learn more information. And it's not in HVAC and business and life, your personal relationships, etc. And all that stuff comes together. Because if you think about what we do, we have to be a leader in this industry. We have to be a people person. You got to be able to communicate, whether it's a customer or your team or your boss, your wife, your kids. You know what I mean? So there's so many things that we can learn that we can use in our everyday life. So it's just, yeah, I mean, I want to constantly try to get better at things. I know there's a lot of things that I need to work on.
Oh yeah, we all do. But that's the first step, is to just be aware of it and know that, hey, I could do better here. Like if it's really important to you, then you'll spend time on it. This is the thing too, is like people will say like, well, I can't save any money. Like I'm just I'm living paycheck to paycheck, man. I'm barely paying rent or whatever. And well, if you don't pay attention to your money's not going to pay attention to you. I know that's kind of a cliche saying or whatever, but I'm telling you,
it's true.
What you pay attention to, I can tell you right now, you have a set of priorities in your life. And if I was to follow somebody around for a week after they got paid, I'll tell you what their priorities are. Is it stopping at the convenience store and spending $12 of shit, 8 times a week? And they're going out to eat every single night with
Have you talked to my wife?
Ordering pizza. Like, I'm telling you.
That's me. That's sad. That's me. I can afford to do it now, but it's still not good.
Do it, though.
It's still not good, though. It's still not good. I shouldn't do it.
No, you should be saving that money, or, going and buying a leadership program or a management program for yourself.
Exactly.
But this is, like I said, if I was to follow you around, I'll tell you what your priorities are. And, one of the guys that I follow, Dr. John DeMartini, he's talking about what you're passionate about, basically. And if I go into a bookstore, for instance, I'll tell you what type of books I'm going to see. I'm going to see business books. I'm going to see personal development books, maybe some like spirituality style books, maybe some science-y books. Like, it's whatever I'm into at the moment. That's what I'm going to see, because that's what I pay attention to, because that's what I value. Now, if my wife walks into the same bookstore, she's going to see, so I'm all about like, primarily nonfiction business style books, that's what I like. If she walks into a bookstore, she's not even going to see those. She's what I see. She's going to see fiction books. She's going to see her favorite authors, that she follows, because that's what she values. So whatever you value. So if you get what I'm saying here, you have to place a value on money, or you'll never have any. period.
And track it. Once you actually track and you see where your money's going, you sit back and you go, damn, like that really cost that much money. Like I'm really like I smoke, like, man, I really spend that much money on cigarettes. Like I always got taught that even in like your business, think about it on a year term. Okay.
Yeah.
So not $8 a pack. Okay. A pack a day, 52 weeks. You know what I mean? At the end of the year, think about that total. And then you're like, damn, that's a lot of money,
That's a new car,
yeah, it's crazy. And I always, shit, I forgot where I was going there. But sadly, when you're talking about looking at books, I thought about dirty magazines. That makes me a bad person, dude.
So yeah, I should have said that. When Gil walks into the store,
he sees porn.
Right.
No, but to be honest, and to answer that realistically, I probably see the same thing you see, but then I am kind of like, I've always been gravitated to like sports books, like sports stories and stuff like that.
Well, I can promise you value that more than your business education. I'm not saying it's wrong, but if you want to learn business, you better start valuing business education. You see what I'm saying?
No, trust me.
Just
I
like
agree.
if you want to spend $12 8 times a week by stopping at a convenience store, because that's so easy to do. I mean, you grab a stick of jerky and a fucking pop and, a hot dog, and there you go, like $12. It's really easy to do, but I can't get that and then bitch because I don't have any money at the end of the week. I value that jerky and that, the convenience store experience. Like I'm saying to myself that I value that more than I do the money. That's the reality.
Well, yeah. And before anybody gets mad when I say this, remember that I just told you that I do that. It's you value the convenience and it shows laziness. Because you won't pack your lunch, you won't wait till you get somewhere else to eat. It's being lazy and taking what's convenient, even though doing the right thing may be a little bit harder. That's what I do. I don't feel like getting up and making a lunch. And sometimes it gets late. I don't feel like it. So I'll just buy something tomorrow. And that's my thinking. And it's not right. Maybe not once a week or something, but not every day.
Yeah, I'm not talking about lunches. Like you should by all means go eat lunch every day. I'm not talking about that. I mean, you're welcome to pack it. And I can tell you, if you do pack it, like you will save a shit ton of money. But I've tried that before. I get really sick of sandwiches real fast, and that's winds up being what I eat the majority of the time.
Maybe that was a shitty analogy, but I mean, I was just trying to say that you do it for the convenience, and you buy shit that you don't need just because you're there.
Yeah. I meant just like stop in a convenience store just to stop by. Like you run out of smokes, you got to run in, grab a pack of smokes. But then you're also buying a slice of pizza and you're grabbing whatever else, that's where it just eats up the money and it's not necessary. Like you might not even have been hungry or, but you're there and it's like, that looks kind of good. I'm going to try that. And
why not?
Right.
Or you just bought a pack of cigarettes, but you're in there. It's like, well, I might need some more later. So I'll just buy another pack.
Right.
And my problem is I was always good at making money, but the more money I made, the more money I spent.
Yes.
It took me a long time and I still need to get, I'm way better than I was, but I still need to get to the point that sometimes I've always had the mentality where it was like, I hate to say it this way, but it was kind of like a drug addict's mentality. Live for today and fuck tomorrow.
Well, you get a dopamine hit every time you click that buy button too.
Yeah. So now, I mean, I still spoil myself and my kids, but my bills are paid. Money's going where it needs to go. I'm not going to do anything.
As long as you're saving something for your future, then I'm not going to bitch at you too much. Yeah, but I know that you spend a ton of money. I can't even imagine, the rest of like what your wife spends. Like hopefully she's not as bad as you.
No, she's definitely not. She's not.
Good.
My wife is the kind that she'll have a whole cart full of stuff and put it all back. So she always yells at me, and she yells at me. I mean, she just, she knows that I provide for the family and she doesn't really say anything, but sometimes she's like, really? Did you really need that? I'm like,
That's so funny, man, because
kinda.
I guarantee that's, that old saying, like opposites attract. That shit is true, that you need somebody to balance you out. So it sounds like she's the one that balances you out. I'm the one who balances my wife out.
Yeah, see,
So,
my wife's not afraid to call me on my bullshit.
yeah,
And that's what I need. When
yeah,
I'm gonna do something, she's like, she always says like when I want to go do something, and I'm like, hey babe, I'm gonna go do this, and she's like, why are you asking me? I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, damn well you're going already. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, whenever you ask me, you're making it like you're asking me, like you're trying to be nice, but in your mind, you've already justified why you need to do what you got to do. You're just, she's like, fine, no. And I'm like, what do you mean, no? Like, I already bought the
right,
plane ticket, like exactly. She's like, you just proved my point. So
right.
yeah, it sucks when you've been with somebody so long that they know you better than you think they know you. You know what I mean?
But it helps, like if you guys go on vacation, for instance, you're more of you're like, you're an extrovert, and that's actually being an extrovert. That's actually one of the behaviors that can coincide with an extrovert is excessive spending and, live for the moment and the joy. Like you're getting the joy right now, and you're like, and that's fun. That's what makes you fun. Like you're a fun guy, where your wife is there to put the brakes on during vacation. Like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. We've already spent, $3,000 today, which that's enough for today. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it
Yeah.
helps keep checks and balances, right? Like checks
Exactly.
and
You
balances.
don't need steak for
Yeah.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
Where for me, I'm like I'm conservative. I don't do the, uh, like I don't have huge emotional roller coasters when I purchase something. Um, if that makes sense. Like I'm easy, I'm boring, so it's like, with my wife, like she'll help me, like cut loose and just have fun, and not worry about it. So it's just that yin and yang that it kind of takes in relationships. That what the worst case scenario is when you're a spender and so is your wife. Like one of you guys got to grow up and realize that we can't just blow through our whole checks every time we get paid, and like take control,
yeah.
So, and I know I'm not saying that you haven't taken control. I know you've taken control.
No, I trust me. I
Yeah,
know what you mean. But there was a time when I did not.
I agree. I'm the
A-
same way.
And I was making great money, and as fast as it was coming in, it was going
Yep.
out.
Yep.
And that kind of drove me to keep working harder because I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I gotta keep paying these bills because I'm trying to spend some more money next
Yeah.
week. So yeah, no, it happens. And I know, but there's one thing though, and we are still gonna do it. So Ian, if you're listening to this, we had some other things going on. We haven't signed up with Ian yet, but we are. But like that, you signed up with that right away. Me, things like that, I I kind of, even though I love it, I want to do it, we're going to do it. I step back, and I never
Yeah.
used to be that way. Now, even if I love it, it's like, like the TV I bought. I went in to the store once. I loved it. I was, man, I'm going to get this. And then I left. And I guess this is how I handle myself because of
Oh
doing stuff
no.
like that.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
I do that. Like when it comes to purchases like that, I absolutely do that. When it comes to business stuff, I don't. If it's something I need and we need to do it, I'm like, he convinced me. He sold me in that podcast, and we've been working with him. Like I had my first meeting. We've been emailing back and forth. So I'm making corrections already, and it's stuff that needed to happen. And so I'm glad to have him as a resource.
Yeah.
Um,
We're sold too. Me and
yeah,
Ryan are going to do it. I'll talk to you off air about some reasons why
sure.
the only reasons that we've held off, but
Yeah.
it's going to happen. So Ian, if you're listening, we're coming, my friend. We're definitely going to do it.
Ian over at the bigpictureconsulting.com.
Yeah. Go back and listen to that podcast, guys. That's it's a good one. If you're a business owner, you need it.
Very affordable. You know, he's going to get us fixed up on some of the stuff that we probably should be doing. So to be 100% compliant, if we ever got at the Department of Labor or if OSHA stepped in, like we need to make sure, like most people, the business, it takes care of all these families. It's the baby, the business is it's the baby that produces a living for all these people in my company and their families, including myself. So I want to make sure that we don't get hit really hard with something if something were to happen, and in today's world and today's society, like anything can happen. So the more you can protect yourself, I think it's worth it. I feel like there's now in the beginning, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, I didn't have the money for stuff like that because I just wasn't charging enough and I didn't know what I was doing. And so even though I would want something like that, I wouldn't be able to do it. But now when I know I need it, and he made a compelling argument, and I'm like, okay, we better get this fixed. So
Yeah, no. And and we know that, and we do need it, especially with the growth that we're trying to do in a short time.
Yes.
We need it. And me and Ryan already talked, and we know we need it. We just we had to make a few things happen before we did this. So yeah, but it's definitely good.
So I think where you were going with that real quick before we move on was the like an emotional buying decisions. Like I am that there's a thing that's called the marshmallow experiment. I think we may have talked about this. I think some Stanford professors, like they put one marshmallow on a plate in front of a kid in a room. They said, you can have that marshmallow right now, or I'm going to leave the room and I'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes. And you can have, if you don't eat it now, you can have 2 marshmallows, or I'll give you another treat on top of the marshmallow. And the kids who did not want to wait, they would not delay gratification. Like soon as they went out, they ate the marshmallow. They followed those kids for years, and they did a study, and some people say that it's possibly not a good study because environments affect us so differently. I mean, like environments are extremely impactful when it comes to the way your kids develop, the way you developed, the way you're developing in your company culture. Like your environment makes a big difference. So if you're in a lower income area where it's hard, a rough neighborhood or whatever, like it's been proven, like even if you're a good kid and you're raised right, the temptation to be go down the wrong path is way higher if you're in the wrong environment, basically. So
you're a product of your environment.
You are absolutely.
That's the truth. And I mean, I see that a lot.
Unfortunately, it can impact lives. So anyhow, they followed those kids, and the kids that had the delayed gratification were just more successful in life, like a bunch of areas of life. Like, so to be able to control your emotions around purchasing decisions is a huge thing. And you need to get a grasp on that if you don't.
Yeah. Because I was always an impulse buyer. So I think that's how I deal with it now. If I want something, rather than being like, oh, that's a good price, I'm going to buy it. But then you get home and you're like, oh shit, well, Walmart had the same TV for fucking $150 cheaper. Like, damn it, Gil. So now it's like, I'll leave. I think about it. Like, what do I really need to do this? All right. Can I afford it? Like, okay, I can buy it. Do I really need it? I try to think about it more before I do it. Do I do it with everyone? No. But the bigger ones, yes, I try to. So if it's smaller things, then yeah, I'll buy it. I mean, I don't really worry about that. I work hard enough that I'm like, I can do shit like that. But bigger things, I do try to think about it more. So
the same type of experiment was done not too terribly long ago with just a gift card with adults. If I said, Gil, I'm going to give you a $25 gift card today, but if you're willing to wait 3 months, I've got something way bigger in store for you. the ones who took the gift card, like they're the ones who wound up being way worse employees. Like they just don't have their shit together, if that makes sense. Like, so
I'd probably be good at that. For some reason, I despise
Yeah.
gift cards.
yeah,
I don't know why. Somebody could be like, "Oh, here's $100 gift card," and most people would be like, "Oh, I'm going to run out and buy something for $100." Me, I'd throw it on my dresser and forget about it.
I'm not a fan of gift cards either.
I find gift cards, and my wife's like, "This is like $100. You never use this." I'm like, "Give it to the kids, whatever." You know, I don't know why. It's give me $100 cash. That's why I don't keep cash on me a lot of times, because I feel like I need to spend it.
See, I'm the opposite. Like I've got a wad of cash in my wallet at any given time. And if that dwindles down for any reason, like it doesn't take but 2 or 3 days and it's full again. I make sure it's full. That's an old thing that I read years ago about if you want to feel more wealthy, and if you want to start programming your brain that you have money, like start with $100. That $100 bill is always in your wallet. You do not spend it. And
I
so
I do have that.
That's what I started doing. Well, I got $1,400 in my wallet. That's just me. I like to keep money in my wallet. I always have cash, and there's been times where, for whatever reason, we needed cash. We needed $600 in cash. I'm like, boom, no problem. I have it because. So
I keep cash in my safe though, for those kind of purposes, if I need it. But normally for me, a lot of times I'll keep maybe 100, maybe $200 cash on me. But normally I'm doing cards because I don't know. I know. I agree. I do like to have the cash on me. I like the mentality, just to open my wallet and know that there's money in there. Even if it's a small amount. But normally I like the card just because I can keep track of it. I guess it's good for me to be able to track where my money's going, where I spent it, how much I spent. But
it's also easy to spend because you're not having to let go of cash.
Well, yes and no for me, because like I've told you, I watch my bank account like a hawk, like, I mean, I'm I probably check that thing 100 times a day. Like I'm literally like, I'll buy something and be like, make sure they didn't charge me. I remember that was 40.46. I want to make sure they didn't charge me 40.47. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. It's just, I've kind of gotten weird. And the way I used to be, especially when I was in that different life, it was all about cash. And like I said earlier, it was always live for today and fuck tomorrow. When you have that addict mentality and you got $150, it's not like, oh man, I can get high all week. It's like, no, I'm going to get high as a giraffe's ass tonight and I'll figure out what the fuck we're doing tomorrow.
Right.
So that's why I guess that's why I am the way I am now. So it's like, God forbid I spent the $200 cash in my pocket. All right, well, I still got my money in the bank. You know what I mean? Right. I don't know. Like, that's how I justify it in my head.
Yeah. And I'm just different on that. I took that one little learning thing. Like, if you want to feel more wealthy and, I guess more security and attract wealth, like put that money in there. So you see it every day. You feel like, hey, I've got money. You know what I mean? Like, because that was back when I first started doing that was back when I had no money. Like that $100 probably took, that took something away from what I was doing that week. You know what I'm saying? Because like, we just didn't have the money. I mean, and we didn't pay attention to our money either. I spent money, she spent money. And so anyhow, the moral of the story is whatever you're spending money on, you're saying if you struggle with money, you're saying that you value those things more than you value your money. And until you change that into valuing your money, you'll never have any. Because
the story is just find Kelley's routes and see how he goes home and goes to work.
Yeah,
because he's got $1,400. I'm just kidding. Got to be careful saying that kind of shit nowadays.
Yeah, no. If what I was going to say is that just like you had said, it didn't matter. The more money you made, it didn't matter. You spent it all. So, and that's what happens. People continue to make more and more money. So this is a lesson for you as a business owner, is you have to teach, you have to pass this information along to the guys. They have to understand this. It's your job to help them start valuing their money, because otherwise you can give them a $10 an hour raise and literally 6 months later they're bitching because they don't think they make enough money.
Or maybe not with a guy that's married or you can offer it, but a single guy, when they're like, man, especially when they're making, $30 an hour or close to it. And it's like, I don't have any money, but that like they live at home with their parents or something. And you really offer them, like, dude, do you want me to help you? Like, seriously help you budget yourself, man?
Yeah.
Because like, dude, you should be fucking sitting pretty. Like, you should literally have no money problems in the world. So, you know what I mean? Like, oh, but I got to pay this. I got to pay this. Like, dude, I pay fucking 7 times as much as that. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's you make it, you're making it sound bad the way you're building it up. But let's start putting some numbers down. Help them, but hey, I'll help you, or bring somebody in for a day, a finance coach or something, and be like, hey man, I'll let you guys all have, an hour worth of today for free, to
Right.
help you budget your money at home, something little like that. Cause it really, really does pay off. And, I still grow with it,
Oh yeah.
I still grow. It's always getting better at things. I always want to be a better husband, a better father, a better manager, a better business partner, a better podcaster, a friend, like I'm always trying to grow and be better. So
Yeah. I talked to our guys about this earlier this year, and it was the eye opener was, I just want you to really like keep a notepad with you or something, or type it in your phone. Like every time you make a purchase, write down what it was, just a really brief description, popping, a soda and jerky, $8 or whatever, and just write it down. And it's shocking. Like you just realize real fast, this is where all my money's going.
yeah, it's definitely crazy. I used to beat my head against the wall for a while because I look at the end of the year and do taxes and like, oh man, you made $100 and whatever $1,000, and I'm like, what? I'm like, it doesn't feel that way, it doesn't feel like I made that. And then it just keeps getting more and more and more. And, eventually it was like, I need to see where this is going. I
Yeah.
want to know, so, but like people say the story, you can have a person who makes $100,000 a year, but they live like they make 50, and they live
They
free.
retire a millionaire too.
Yep, not a worry
Early.
in the world. Or you got a person who makes $100,000 a year, but they try to live like they make $200,000 a year, and they got nothing.
The majority of America.
Yeah, exactly. Credit card, credit card, credit card, credit card. I think it's funny when people pay a credit card bill with a credit card bill. It's like you're paying a bill with a bill.
To tell you the truth, I never had good credit until I was 35, 36. That's when my credit was, by 33 or 34 is when I like put my foot down and I'm like, I ain't gonna live like this anymore. And by 36, 37, that's when my credit turned good. But still, it took several years after that, even. I mean, a couple years at least.
I'm still getting mine back.
Well, I'm saying like, for me, I haven't even told you what it was yet, but like, I remember like hearing about people being like $25,000 in credit card debt. And dude, my biggest credit card was like $1,200 or $1,500. My whole life, I was never given like a high credit limit because I had started out at 18 getting credit cards and then not paying them because I didn't have the money. I went and charged them up and made the minimum payment and then missed payments. And so I couldn't fathom how somebody could even have that much credit card debt because I'd never even had a credit card that went over like $2,000 as far as a limit. And now I do see because I do have, $10 $10,000, $15,000 limits. And so,
Or and people get, $10, $15 limits and they get 7, 10 of those cards, you know,
oh God, no.
people go crazy. It's
I pay all mine off. Like I've the business credit card gets paid like whatever we charge on it. Like I put Ian's on it last month. Well, it just got paid when the bill came in last Thursday. And so, and Service Titan gets charged to that. So it was a fairly hefty credit card bill. But, and then this month, that 2,400 I put on there on that credit card, but we'll pay it off when it comes in next month. So on my personal credit cards, you got to stay on top of that stuff because it gets out of control really fast. So I make as big a payments as possible until it's paid off. So
yeah, me and my wife, we don't have many credit cards now just because me and my wife were dumb for so long that I was either, if I can't pay cash for it, I can't. So now we have small ones and we're trying to tighten. We're just now getting our credit back where it needs to be. So even for me, it's like I do good. I have money. I make good money, but still had to get the credit back. And it's easy to destroy it. And it takes a shit long amount of time to try to get it back up.
It takes over about 2.5 years.
Yeah. Well, mine's longer than that, probably at the beginning, because I was, I take 10 steps forward and 20 steps back.
In those 2 to 2.5 years, you cannot have a late payment. You cannot, like, on anything. It's the only way. Yeah. But if you do that, it will get straightened out, and then you'll be able to, your credit score will go up, and it turns around from there. Then you get better interest rates when you go to buy a vehicle, or or it's time to go buy a house. You'll get a better interest rate. It really can impact the wealth of your long-term wealth, by having a better credit score. It's just, even today, I struggle with this because I feel like you mess up, you make some mistakes, you're young and dumb, and then society or the way the system is structured, it just kicks you while you're down. Like, okay, you fucked up. You missed your payments 2 times last year. So instead of a 4.9% interest rate, you're getting a 9.9% interest rate. So it's even harder for you because you already been kicked, like you already fell down, but now you're down and they just feel like they need to keep kicking you. It doesn't seem, but I understand also, like, we have to judge some way. What's the likelihood that this person is going to pay back this bill, that if we're going to loan them money? So I understand, but once you make the decision and you've been on track and you're doing good, I don't know. I used to bitch about it all the time. I guess I was probably just is more of a victim mentality, oh, you fucking kick me down while
No, I know mine. And see, I remember I was 18 and racked up so many credit cards doing stupid stuff. And my grandmother, literally, I had like $22,000 in credit card debt. I'm talking at like 21.
That's insane. They wouldn't give me that kind of credit, man.
Yeah. Well, and that was a bunch of bills together. And my grandmother paid them all for me. I got a clean scrape. Dude, my credit score shot up to I think at one point I was like a 790 something. I went in to buy a 4-wheeler and the guy was like, well, let me check your credit score. He came out and he was like, fuck, dude, what do you want? He was like, tell me what you want. I'll get it ready. I was like, he's like, I'm used to dealing with 520, 530. He's like, what do you want? I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, all right. I was like, give me this and let me take that. And let me,
6 months later,
exactly.
That 790 went down to a 620.
Yeah, dude. And it was, I was horrible. I was not financially responsible then.
Yeah.
And I got that gift from my grandmother at a bad point in my life because then I dealt with addiction. I mean, stupid shit, dude. I remember taking cash advances on credit cards to go fucking get high.
Yeah.
I mean, I destroyed my credit, dude. Destroyed it.
Right.
And pretty bad to where it's still taking time to get it back. And then me and my wife both having issues trying to repair two of them. But it's our bed. We have to lay in it, and it's things that we make right. We're still doing that uphill battle, but it is what it is. We'll be okay, you know? So if you're out there in that situation, just know that it's a fight, but it's worth fighting and you can do it, you know? Just keep doing it. You're not the only one doing it. So just so you guys know, we're not happy. We had a guest schedule for tonight and it did not show up. So I'm making this notice out to people that this podcast is normally booked out for the most part, at least two months in advance, if not more, to the point where Kelley goes in and books just me and him so that we have shows for just me and him to do. So if you people reach out to us and you want to be a guest on the podcast and you don't show up, I take that as a smack in the face. I know it's happened and some people don't mean it. Things happen. I get that. But I do take it as a smack in the face because our time is valuable. And please don't reach out to us if you're not going to show up. Okay. That nothing pisses me off more. You know, we have listeners that we try to plan these shows for. We try to make sure we put out good content for them to get some value. And it's not fair to me and Kelley to have to try to think of something when someone doesn't show up. All right. So anybody out there listening who's thinking about emailing us to be on the podcast, if you don't know you can show up, don't even worry about fucking emailing us. All right. So sorry, I had to get that out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, me and Kelley got talking about this and we know that maybe it's not really HVAC related, but maybe this can help some of you guys, your self-worth, just to try to clean up some things in your life to make you guys better people. We like to do these kind of shows every once in a while
Somebody needs to hear this. Somebody needs to hear this.
And maybe some of you heard it before and you don't need it right now, but maybe there's half of you that do need to hear this right now. You're at a point in your life with this coronavirus and finances and you're making bad decisions. And, you know, maybe you need to hear me and Kelley slap you around a little bit saying, wake the fuck up, you know, get out of this rut, get out of the rut, get back to what you got to do. Let's fix some things. You know, maybe you're not putting money in your 401k or your retirement. Well, start putting it in there, you know, maybe let's not go to the gas station every day. You know, let's not buy that bullshit we don't need. You know, maybe on the way to work, let's just grab a soda out of the fridge rather than, you know,
Yes.
I used to leave my house and go to the gas station up the street and buy an orange Fanta that I have cases of them in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
My wife's like, just take one out of the fridge and you can drive right past the gas station.
You like paying $2.25 for that instead of getting out of your fridge for 20 cents.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like just dumb stuff, man. If you guys just sit back and think about something, sometimes it's crazy. So
that's how a lot of you guys are with the Red Bulls and the Monsters. And
I know, man.
I mean, they're expensive and you stop every morning and you go grab one. Do you realize like how much money you're spending? I'm not saying don't like totally not, you know, give in to some of your temptations and like treat yourself. But
I know, geez, guys,
if you're doing that every morning, I honestly don't. It's disgusting. But
I do. That's why I was joking.
Oh yeah, I figured.
Yeah,
I don't.
I had that video of kidney stones. And
Red
then
Bull
James,
is like foul, dude. It's like tastes like medicine or some shit. I don't know how anybody drinks that shit.
Yeah, I only drink the flavored ones.
Yeah.
There's an apple one and a couple. I can't drink regular Red Bull.
Yeah.
You know, but like the 5-hour energies too, like they're going to shut my kidneys down. But after I'd said something in the Facebook group about having kidney stones, this is before I came here and me and Ryan were talking. And he was like, dude, you said something about kidney stones and you made a video the next day drinking a fucking Red Bull. It was like, what the hell? What is it with this guy? Like, dude, you were just peeing fire. Like put that Red Bull down, you know, like you dumbass. I'm like, yeah, that's me. So
yeah,
crazy.
So, you know, if you went and bought a case of that and just had it in your fridge and just grabbed it out of your fridge every morning, you're going to save, you know, a ton of money by the time it's all said and done.
Drinking.
Right.
But, yeah, man, hell, let's get ready to close this out. Hey, we sorry we did something a little different tonight. Technically, we said we weren't planned, but it's a little break. But I hope that you guys need to hear this, that it helps all of you. But But yeah, anyway, let me shut up. Let's close this out, Kel.
Yeah. So hopefully you took the main message away tonight, which is just, whatever you say that you value, you can say it all day long, but until your actions and behaviors actually prove that that is what you want, that's what you want to do, that's the direction you want to go, that's what you want to learn, then, stop talking about it and start doing something about it. Because what you value, remember, you're going to give the money to, you're going to pay attention to the stuff that you value. So bottom line. Anyhow, all right. I'm glad we got to keep this a little bit short tonight. So we got started late because
I don't think it was really that short, though.
Yeah, probably.
we can't do anything short. It's an hour plus if we get going always.
What you guys don't know is we'll get on here and we could talk. And if we would just hit the record button, we'd probably record like 3 podcasts in a row, because we could talk for an hour before we even start recording.
Well, normally we do. Me and Kelley are talking minimum an hour. Sometimes it's been like 2 hours before we ever hit record. We record 2 hours and you guys only hear an hour and a half, an hour and 15 minutes once it's cut down. And then we'll talk afterwards. So it's like, it's a long, that's what we mean when we say it's a long night.
Yes. So anyhow, I'm glad it feels like it went short tonight. So maybe we just were having a good time, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyhow, guys, appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for listening. Wouldn't do it without you. Couldn't do it without you. Special shout out to Zeke, Mr. Zeke Warner. He's Zeke. You are the man. Really appreciate you. I know he left us a review on our Facebook page, on the business page.
Oh,
I've not seen it yet, but he said that it's done. Like he went and gave us a review. So
nice.
Appreciate it, Zeke. We'll read that on the next podcast. So anyhow, guys, take care of yourselves. Thanks for listening. Go make money.
Yeah, just like Kelley says, man, we thank you guys. Before I forget, keep leaving those reviews. Keep checking us out on all the major podcast apps and platforms, guys. Download the podcast, share it with people. Share it with friends at your company. Tell them to take a listen. And like we always say, if there's certain things you want to hear, you want us to talk about, just reach out to us. Email us, hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Get into the Facebook group. You can message us that way. You can text us on the Uncensored hotline, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. 443-422-1000. That's 443-422-1000. I've been paying a lot more attention to the phone. So I look at it a couple of times a day and I try to respond back to the people. Maybe it's a day later. But I've been talking back and forth with a lot of people, asking questions, and I'm trying to help. So yeah, don't be afraid to text. And we're going to read some of the reviews on air when we do that. And the other thing, guys, is me and Kelley are talking. This podcast is going to start recording live. So we are going to start here. So we're not sure exactly when, but we're going to put this podcast right onto Facebook. It's going to be in there. The audio will still come out every Monday, but we're going to start when we record these, put them right into the group live. And then maybe we'll leave the last 5-10 minutes for you guys to respond and we can answer your questions. The rest of the time, you're literally just going to be an audience. We're going to do the podcast like we normally would. So we're not necessarily going to be paying attention to the comments. But I think it'll be good. And we'll see how you guys like that. The live streams are going to be coming back. In the process of working on that now. At the same time, trying to make a business grow. So that'll be happening here soon. Hope you guys like tonight, man. We try to give you as much value as possible. Maybe sometimes it's more HVAC than not, but I think tonight was good value for everybody. Some of you know this, you don't need it, but I know there's some of you that do. I hope you guys take this, you inner work it into your own life, and you make yourself be the best version of you, like we always say. All right. So I'm going to stop being a blowback. I'm going to go ahead and end this like we said. But guys, always be safe out there. Always make it home the same way you left. All right. Always do the little things. Always set yourself apart. Part of that's being the best version of you. And yeah, man. Until next week, man. We love you guys, and we'll talk with you mofos later. All right. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.